it's Lily, welcome back to another video, or hello if you are new. Today, we are back in Summit Sanctuary, which finally actually has a name because I had to put a name on this when I started scheduling these videos. So, welcome back to Summit Sanctuary, the mountainside luxury zoo focused on conservation and unique animal experiences. Today, I'm actually gonna do something and, finish part of the zoo. Last episode, I did a whole lot of things that amounted to a whole lot of nothing in the end. Nothing to show for it anyway. It's all part of the process, but in this episode, I actually do finish some of the builds that I've been working on for some time, including the pool and the bungalows. Those are both done, and I think I do some work also on like the pool exterior, but you probably won't see that until next episode. Because that was a whole, the pool is done, but some of the seating areas nearby are not fully finished yet because I just really wasn't sure what I wanted to do with some of this area. I unintentionally made things much bigger than they needed to be, which I realized as I was doing this front area and had so much space to fill up. But yeah, right now I am continuing working on part of the private check-in area for the bungalows. I wanted to, if people are paying quite a bit more for these private spaces, they probably also don't want to be in like hotel's main building at all to check in and whatnot. Plus it doesn't make sense to have it so separated out. So yeah, this area is going to be like a private seating area with like just a place to hang out, maybe for staff also. The guests can't actually walk in this section. I don't think the path is like, I don't think I leave the path long term. Yeah, I do a little like coffee stand and little desks and the computer, which I carry over from the Flamingo Bar and Grill, which is probably one of my favorite little things that I've ever built in terms of actually looking good, because it feels like it could be a real computer with a little keyboard. It looks like something that they would make for computer, does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't make sense. Anyway, yeah, so I work on this area for a bit, then I do some final detailing work to the bungalows, which I think are mostly done, but I think I do the kitchen. I finish up the kitchen and I grab some seating. I just copy some of the seating that I really liked from my zoo entrance building, because there's this really big round seating that I just think it looks so cute. And it looks sort of cozy. I don't know. It's hard to make furniture in this game that actually looks comfortable, like it has fabric on it and not like it's just a wood furniture, but I think it looks okay. And so I grab some of that seating and I bring that into the bungalow as well. So there's like a hanging bench, there's the round seating, benches scattered around, beds, and the table, and then obviously the kitchen. I didn't put a fridge in the kitchen though, now that I think about it. And I'm not gonna redo it, but that was an oversight on my part. I should have put a fridge in the kitchen. makes sense. We'll just pretend there's one of those hidden fridges or something like that. Maybe there's a communal fridge somewhere. In any case, those are going to be done. So you will see the cinematics for the giant pool and the bungalows. And I really hope you enjoy them, because I think it is something unique to the suit that looks fairly realistic. I tried, okay? I talked about it in the episode where I actually started building the pool, but wow, making water features in this game that actually look good is quite difficult for me, personally. And I think for most people, but yeah, definitely for me, there's just something about it that just looks a little off. But we make it work, we do. So, I feel like I've already talked about this build and what I can do in this episode. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm 14 episodes in and I've run out of things to say. That's not good. Well, I'll talk about, I guess, how my progress is going in this zoo. I've just finished the panda habitat. So what I have left now is the peafowl golf, which isn't going to be all that much decorating in terms of the habitat, I think, because, like, you know, a golf course is fairly, it's just grass. You know, I'm gonna have to get the flag in there, and somehow I will make the green. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do that yet. There are some grass pieces. They're a little bumpy, so I don't know. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna simulate the green. Maybe I'll use the shapes, but I feel like it's gonna be too... In any case, yeah, mostly I just have to outline sort of the parameters of the course as a whole, and then also put some kind of barrier in between the different holes so that you don't get confused on where you're supposed to hit the ball to. And so there's that, the clubhouse that I want to make for that habitat. I'm still unsure what I'm gonna do for that. I had a restaurant initially, but I'm not sure if I want to put another restaurant. I have, how many do I have already? 2, I think? 2 or 3. So one more. Do I just have 2? I mean, I feel like 3 restaurants is not unreasonable, but there's some places that I might want to put that restaurant instead of the clubhouse, because the clubhouse is very close to the treetop cafe that I have in the lemur house, which is going to be, you're gonna exit the lemur house presumably and then walk almost immediately to the clubhouse. Like, there's one habitat in between, and so I feel like it might be a little too close. So maybe I'll just do some food stalls, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll just see how it goes. I have a lot of food stalls too, is the thing. I have a whole, like, food court area with, I think, pizza and hot dog, maybe? I think it's the pizza shop and the hot dog stand. And, oh, wait, there's a restaurant there too. Yeah, so I do already have 3 restaurants in the zoo. So I don't know if I actually need another. I don't know. I guess you'll find out when I build it and then we can talk about it and why I made that decision. But anyway, so there's the clubhouse. It's gonna have probably the upstairs section, whatever eatery I make up there with benches or tables, and then I'm also gonna have, I'm gonna do my best to make a little shop for the clubhouse to sell golf things. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to actually simulate golf clubs, golf balls. I think I can use the shirts. That should be fine, because I've seen lots of clubhouses have, like, you know, polos, because everybody wears a polo when they go golfing, or especially the women's golf clothes, which I feel like are much more difficult to find, typically. And someone who's golfed a few times, not many times, I used to own a set of golf clubs. I never really liked golf all that much. But yes, I have been a few times. So I've been to a couple clubhouses. I sort of know the environment. Definitely gotta make a bar in the eatery section, because I've never been golfing and not had myself or the people I was with, or just kind of the larger group as a whole, drink during and after. If you don't know, I don't know how common this is in other countries, but, or, you know, anywhere else except where I'm from, but you can bring beer on the golf course. So people, and alcohol, people typically bring like a 6-pack or something, and they'll spend however long golfing and drink some beer or what have you, and go to the clubhouse after, get some food, maybe I'll get another drink. So who knows how it's going to work out, but that's my plans anyway. Little shop on the bottom, eatery on the top with the bar somewhere in one of those sections. And I'm gonna try really, really, really hard to make some golf carts. Don't know how it's gonna work out. I might use the frame of, like, there's like a cart in the game. There's a couple things. I think I can make it work. There's definitely some options. I just don't know how well it's gonna turn out. I hope it turns out and it actually looks like a golf cart. But yeah, I might, so my plan is to kind of place the golf carts around the habitat, and it will be a walkthrough habitat, so hopefully guests will just walk and, you know, we'll have to use our imagination and pretend that they're golfing or that they're in a group to golf. But I think it's going to be probably just like a 9-hole course, so it shouldn't be too terribly large, and just scattered with some peacocks, which in reality seems like it would be very dangerous. For this and this thing only, I'm gonna just suspend some disbelief here and pretend that it's fine, because I just like the idea of golfing with these animals. And like, I don't think it's totally wild, because I'm pretty sure, especially like in Florida, where there's a lot of older people who golf, and so there's a lot of golf club courses, I feel like that's a thing. I feel like there are animals on the golf course, like gators or which is not a, yeah, I couldn't actually do that, but that happens in Florida, definitely. Gators end up in your swimming pool, so of course they're gonna end up on your golf course, especially when you have these water features that most golf courses have, because, you know, if you can't lose your golf ball in a man-made lake, are you even playing golf? But yeah, so golf course, and I have the polar bear exhibit which is going to be a whole thing. So I'm going to put some actual exhibits in there, and then the polar bear habitat will be very large. It's mostly going to be rocky, and I'm going to don't remember what zoo this is, but there's some, I think, northern zoo that has, I want to say like an Arctic ring or something. They designed it in such a way that the barriers are very hidden from guests as you walk around, and it kind of looks like all the habitats are in one space, even though they're separated by land things, like big canyons and or rock walls or something. So I kind of want to model that, and especially what I'm thinking of the most in terms of modeling it after that is there is this, it's like tundra grass, I guess. It's not snowy in that habitat. It's cold enough for the polar bears. It's just not like a snow environment. And so I feel like that's maybe what I want to do, because even though I could make it snowy in the game, because that's, you know, I just need some coolers and whatnot, realistically, a zoo wouldn't really be able to do that unless the space is totally indoors. So what I'm thinking is that, you know, I've always thought that this is like a mountain zoo, so it probably does have a little bit of a colder climate, and I think most of my animals can handle that. Probably the exception being the African lions, which I just really wanted some lions in my zoo, okay? It's not for any reason. They're critically endangered, I believe. They have they are high on the endangered scale, which is a sort of not a hard and fast, but a loose criteria for animals in this zoo. And I just really wanted them. So I think, though, besides that, I have a lot of animals from India. So I don't know. I feel like it gets sort of cold there. Am I wrong, though? I don't actually know. I guess it depends, too. Like, it's a very large country, so I'm sure some parts of it are in the north are cold, and in the south it's similar to the US. It never really snows in the southern US states. So yeah, so I've got Indian elephants. I don't know how they do in the cold. I think most of my other animals are like European, or there's the Bengal tiger. I'm not gonna think too hard about it, okay? This is the one aspect I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'll just have whatever animals in my zoo that I want. And the consequence of that is that I'm just gonna do a sort of tundra exhibit habitat for the polar bears, and it's not going to be super snowy. I will put like some patches of snow here or there, but yeah, for the most part, I think it's just going to be like dried grass, and as much as I can handle it anyway. I know the polar bears have their requirements. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm hoping I can do that. And then, besides that, I have the desert building, which I don't know. There's a lot of habitats in that, so I don't know how long it's going to take me, but the habitats are fairly small. I did actually stick to the size requirements for the most part, give or take. Because, you know, sometimes I do have some trouble with the pandas, for instance. I built the space, and it seemed like it was going to be more than enough space for the pandas, realistically. But when I put all my walls and things up and put all the plants down, they were like 200 meters off of the space that they needed, so I ended up deleting a bunch of plants, and then I ended up extending the habitat a little bit so that there was an indoor sleeping area, but it actually has a guest view into that sleeping area, so it turned out okay. It looks, it looks like it's meant to be there, I would say. Yeah, I hate running into problems like that. I want my animals to have more than enough space. So, we'll see how I do with these very small habitats. I am doing small animals. And I think for the most part, some of these animals are just going to be like singular animals because they're carnivorous sort of animals. I've never actually made a habitat. I think the fennec fox is one of the ones I was going to put in there. And I've never made a habitat for that one yet, so I don't actually know the requirements, but in any case, the desert house is the last structure that I have left. Besides the other two I already mentioned. And then there's a possible fourth. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. It depends on how the zoo looks with just these last three habitats that I want to build, but basically there's this huge open space, and it feels like I could easily connect my polar bear habitat to the other side of my zoo by going through this space, and all I would need is one more habitat, like a really large habitat though, to kind of fill in the space for the guests to see. And I'm just not sure if I'm going to do it yet. It just depends on how it looks. I'm going to try with some trees first and see if that feels full enough. The zoo is pretty large as it is. There's many walkthrough exhibits. There's many other things to do. So yeah, it's up in the air. I'm gonna decide at the last minute whether or not I want an extra habitat. If I do an extra habitat, it's going to have a lot of primates and monkeys, I think. I want to do orangutans, and I actually realized I could put the Asian small clawed otters in with the orangutans and a couple of the other animals, and so I'm really trying to use mixed habitats when that's an option. Yeah. Anyway, that is just about the end of the video here. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to give it a like. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I post speed builds for Summit Sanctuary every Tuesday and Saturday, and will until this series is done, which I hope we are about halfway through right now, but it's impossible to say just now. So join my Discord if you want to hang out and chat about Planet Zoo or some of the other games that I post on my channel, because I'd love to build up my community and have a very chill place to share your game adventures, whether it's in Planet Zoo or in the Long Dark. But thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye!